When fishing this spring and into early summer, there's nothing better than targeting the tench. When you set the alarm and you wake up at first light to watch the mist coming off the lake and you're looking out hoping to see some bubblers, there's nothing more special. Today we're fishing in a state lake in the hope of catching some tench. I've caught some really nice sized tench from this lake in the past. I've caught a good handful of double figure tench, the biggest going 12.5 pounds. I never ever thought this day would come. I dreamt of a 10-pound tench. I achieved that. I always dreamed of an 11-pound plus tench, but this is simply incredible. I am really lost for words and I am so happy. Whether it be float fishing or feeder fishing, there's nothing more special when it comes to tench fishing. Ideal times usually are from first light right the way up until lunchtime, but depending on the time of the year and the behaviour of the tench, you can get bites throughout the day. So it's good to be consistent and fish throughout the day to figure out the bite times for when the tench like to feed. It's even worth keeping your odds out through the night, because I've found in previous sessions that they won't feed through the day and they could potentially feed through the night. I feel that obviously temperature and weather plays a big part in this and when they feed. If it's a real hot day and the pressure's high, I can almost find that the bites are straight off at first light, and then again dusk into evening and through the evening. If it's overcast, which in my opinion is always the better sort of conditions, overcast, low pressure, drizzly sort of days, you can look for having bites all throughout the day. But don't take my word for it, because obviously every lake is different. Whether it is estate lakes or big gravel pits, you can get bites throughout and different. So basically fish the lake that you're fishing and then work it out for yourselves. But it's always worth fishing all throughout the day and the night to see when the bite times are best for the venue that you're fishing. Right, here we go, first tench of the session, a little bit later in the morning, so not your stereotypical first light bite, but just goes to show if you keep the faith, they will turn up. This is about an average size tench for this venue. It's probably about around 6 pounds. This one fell to feeder tactics, using the ever faithful source dumbbell hook bait, fishing over a nice bed of hemp, pellet, small boiling corn. Beautiful pristine fish. Hopefully we're going to catch one a bit bigger than this for the cameras. Just going to slip her back now, hopefully get a few more. No sooner than I slipped the other tench back, I didn't even have time to flick the rod back out and this rod's tore off to this lovely 7-pound tench. Went off on the embed feeder, again source hook bait, lovely pristine fish. When I slip this tench back, I'm going to talk you through the tackle and the tactics which I'm using to catch these beautiful fish. Lovely. I'm going to talk you through the tackle you need when targeting the tench. We'll start off with the rod. Today I'm using the Wychwood floater rod, which is 2 1/4 test curve, which is perfect for fishing up to anything up to ideally 50 yards, maybe 60 yards. It's ideal rod. It's nice and soft, so obviously when you're using the smaller hooks for the tench, you're not going to have hook pulls when you're fishing and playing the tench under the rod tip. We're going to go to the reel. I'm using an Extricator 5000 FD reel, basically a mini big pit. I've loaded that with 10-pound mono. Again, this reel coupled with this rod, it's nice and balanced, ideal for casting anything up to 60 yards. The reason why I'm using 10-pound mono is because the majority of the venues I fish are very weedy. So you want nice strong line to be able to pull those tench out the weed. Going down to the main bit now. Just unhook this here off this bit. Today I'm using the Matt Embed feeder. These feeders are very, very versatile, so you can do multiple things with them. If you want to cast these out and you want to leave them out for longer, you can mould your ground bait round them like a traditional feeder, and then you can tuck your bait in. Or today, basically how I've been fishing them the way that you're supposed to, with the little line clip, which is obviously optional, but I like to use this line clip because it aids as a bolt rig sort of effect, which has resulted in me getting screaming takes, and the tench have been absolutely nailed. Basically, the rig that I like to use, I'm using a 12-pound supple braided hook link, nice and short, around 3 inches. I'm using a size 12 whisker barbed hook, and for the hook bait I'm just using a trimmed down Source hardened hook bait dumbbell. And basically, like I said, I've been using the little bait clip, so basically all you have to do is you just pull that in there. I've been fishing it in the middle section of the feeder. I'm plugging it with my chosen mix, then putting the hook bait on, and then putting a little bit over, and that's which has been helping me get the bites that I have been getting today. And the takes have been absolutely savage, and the tench have been nice and hooked in the bottom lip. And touch wood, I haven't lost any fish yet using this setup. I've been using this for a couple of seasons now, and I've caught tench up to just under 10 pound on this setup. So with this feeder, this rod and reel, you can take this setup pretty much to any venue and catch some nice tench yourself. Now we're going to talk about the most vital aspect in tench fishing, bait. Basically, when I started on this venue 9 years ago, I came here with the approach which every tench angler likes to use, the traditional approach, using maggots, caster, chop worm, lob worms. I basically started off here using that approach, and then as soon as that sun dipped behind those clouds, I soon realised that was a big mistake, because I had a very sleepless night which produced heaps and heaps and heaps of bootleg steels. First light, I realised that something had to change. From looking at what the other anglers on the lake were catching, i.e. the carp anglers, they were catching big double figure tench. So I knew that I had to start incorporating boilies into my approach. So basically what I did pretty much was use a scaled down carp tactics really, but with a tenchy sort of style. So I'd use either method feeders or open end feeders, fish heli style, short hook links with boilie hook baits. So now I'm just going to talk through the mix that I'm using now and that I have been using for the past 9 years. So basically what I like to do is treat it like carp fishing. So when I arrive to the venue, you find your spot, basically I'll mix up a mix which consists of about 4 kilos of bait. That'll be a whole jar of hemp, mixed sizes of marine halibut pellet, 2s, 4s, 6s. I like to add some sauce pellets in there as well. So a handful of sauce boilies, a handful of corn. I don't like to put too many food items in the mix, because basically when you're fishing your feeders, the fish will hone into your hook bait quicker, which will result into getting quicker bites. I like to use hardened hook baits on the actual rig. This allows you to leave your rig out there for longer, because what I like to do is, rather than attack the swim, because I've already put out 4 kilo, a dinner table of bait, I fish for a bite at a time. With my feeder mix, whether you use an open end, method feeders, I like to use the marine halibut mix or ground bait. I'll mix a bit of pellet in there as well, and I'll make this mix stodgy so it takes longer to break down, to emphasise the fact that I'm fishing for a bite at a time. I'm not recasting, disturbing the swim. I find this approach helps catch those bigger, warier tench, whereas when you're recasting, I think you're spooking off the bigger tench. So by laying out the dinner table, leaving your rigs till you've had a bite, that has helped me catch numerous double figure tench to 12.5 pound. And I think if you take this approach to other venues like I have, it will help you catch big tench also. Like I just said, I've taken this to other venues where the venues are heavily fished by carp anglers, which most are these days. So these big tench, you're seeing boilies day to day, and they're getting big from eating boilies. So if you use this approach, give it a go, I think you too will catch big tench just like I have.